Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Z Fold 6 after about 8 months of this phone being out. So let's get into it. First things first, the Z Fold 6, the Z Fold series, they always have trouble with finding cases. I feel like cases are just hard to make for this form factor. However, it has gotten better over the years, and I feel like this specific model has probably some of the most case support out of any foldable phone. So it's a decent case that I have from Pitaka. It has MagSafe built in. Only issue is that it only has one side. But me personally, I've been running my Z Fold 6 without a case. So I actually had multiple Z Fold 6s. My original one got stolen. It is what it is though. But when I had that Z Fold 6, I ran it, with just a screen protector and then also a back protector. I found this on Amazon. The links will be in the description below. And then I put a MagSafe ring on that back protector. I mainly use the back protector just for the MagSafe ring. So this is how I've been running my Z Fold 6. And, it's just a good experience. Like, personally, I don't drop my phone that much, especially with this design because of how slim it is. Very easy to hold in one hand. So I run it like this and it's been good. There are some nicks on this phone, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure I got the phone like this from the person that I got it from. So it is what it is. And yeah, durability on the Z Fold 6 is amazing. Like it is a folding phone, so you're always obviously gonna have issues with the glass, like, or potential issues more than like a normal phone. Like a normal phone is not gonna just stop working with the screen, but as a folding phone with folding glass, like ultra thin glass that folds, there's always that potential of something happening, dust getting inside the hinge and it gets to the screen, things like that. There's always that possibility. But the Z Fold 6 is probably the most durable foldable phone on the market. Samsung's durability is kind of underrated when it comes to their folds, and I feel like they've kind of figured out the formula more and more each year, and this is the culmination of that work. So Z Fold 6 is probably the most durable foldable phone, like I said, and I'm not really concerned about that stuff. So now getting into the use of the phone. After basically almost a year with this phone, what are the downsides? How does it compare to the other foldables? I think this is probably the best foldable phone that you can get right now in terms of like all around. Some people might hear that and be like, oh, what are you talking about, bro? It's not the thinnest, it's not the lightest, it doesn't have the biggest outside screen. How could it be the best? It's the best because of the software. Like, the software is just, in my opinion, 90% of the experience. So, Samsung software is one of the most customizable Android skins out there. You have so many different features. Like, personally, I love the edge panel and how it works. Other phones have something similar to edge panel, but they don't work exactly the same. Like, for example, I use the edge panel, then I can swipe again and access it, and just one tap will open up a split screen with specific apps. So I use it as a quick shortcut for those apps. And then you also have these AI features where you can, draw something quickly. And obviously on the inside screen, you can use the S Pen. So if I open that AI feature, you can start doing an AI sketch and generate an image right just like that. So let's say I want to draw, I don't know, a Dragon Ball. I doubt it will work, but let's just see. Then, the sheen for the color. Okay, let's see what it does. Like some AI stuff that you can do from the edge panel. Then you also have this quick screenshot. It's kind of like an AI screenshot thing that it smartly highlights a section of whatever you're viewing, and then it can give you the location. You can pin it, you can copy it, you can write, and then you can also just turn it into a note, convert it, like the numbers and stuff you can convert and stuff like that. Like, you have these AI options that are here. Then you also have recent apps that show up if they are not listed here. Then you can go to the customization, and this is how I turned on the tap functionality, where if I just tap it, it will enter into split screen very quickly. You can turn it back to touch and hold, and if you do that, then when you tap an app, it will just quickly switch to that app instead. And you might be thinking like, oh, why would you do that if you have the taskbar down here? But it's just a different experience. Like, my hand is always on the right side, right? And also the edge panel works on the other display, whereas the taskbar doesn't. So when my hand is right here, I can quickly just boom, 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 switch back and forth. And then when I have tap turned on, I can quickly enter a split screen session. So that is one thing I really enjoy about Samsung software. The taskbar even works better than it does on other foldable phones. Like, for example, it's here, but then if I enter into a split screen, the taskbar is gone and now the whole screen is being used. You know, I see some people, they make videos on multitasking on the Z Fold 6, and typically I see people showing split screen where like so much of the space is being taken up by the taskbar and the status bar. If you turn on this quick setting in the settings app, you just go and search split screen, and then it's just full screen in split screen view. Very easy to turn on. So as soon as you're in a split screen session, it will show a full screen. But if you turn it off, then you're gonna get these bezels, or you know, the taskbar and the status bar taking up a lot of space, and it's gonna look a lot smaller than it can look. So I just turn that on, and then when I'm not in, you know, a split screen, there my taskbar is back. So I really appreciate that flexibility of Samsung software and the different things you can do. Then you can see how many apps I have on the taskbar, a lot. I did that through Home Up and Good Lock. And then you can also show up to 4 recent apps. You can show and hide with the touch and hold. So if I turn that on, if I touch and hold, the taskbar will disappear. If I touch and hold again, taskbar will come back. So I just turn that off because if I'm in a single screen, then I like to have the taskbar here. And the taskbar is good for just jumping back and forth between apps very quickly, as you see how quick it is. And I have so many apps down here, just makes it super fast. Of course, you can select any app, and I have my app drawer with folders. This is another feature I like on Samsung devices. So folders, I can find whatever app I want very easily because I know the category, you know, just boom, 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 find that very quickly, very easily. So yeah, the flexibility and customization of the Z Fold 6 is one of the things that keeps me on it, and why I think it's the best foldable phone. Then the multitasking even goes further. I see people showing, you know, you can go like this on the Z Fold 6 to get into a split screen session, and that is one of the ways that I use it. But you got to think about the small details in Samsung software. So if I swipe from the right side, then it will open a split screen session from the right side, so I can choose the app to go there. But if I swipe from the left side, it will allow me to choose an app that goes on the left side specifically. If I swipe from the bottom, then boom, now I can choose an app from the bottom. And you know, it doesn't go to the home screen like it does on the Apple devices or the OnePlus. But I feel like this is also very useful because it shows you the recent apps. Like let's say you want to open an app that you were recently using in split screen, you can do that. Then you have your most used apps. So this is also again useful for me because I use these apps a lot, especially Wild Rift and YouTube in split screen. So very quickly access that. Then you have all your apps, but you can also search, and you can also open up the app drawer if you need to. So it's not, I feel like it's actually pretty good. It has the best of all worlds because you can search, you have recent apps, you have most used apps, and then you have alphabetical order and the app drawer. Really not bad at all to quickly get into a split screen session. So I really like that flexibility. Then you have more gestures. Swipe from the top right to enter into a floating window. And as you can see, the floating windows on the Z Fold 6 are the best of any foldable phone because of how they're easily manipulated. And then you can also have up to 5 floating windows at a time, plus have 3 apps in split screen at a time. So if I go boom, and then I can go again and grab Reddit, and now I have so many apps on my screen, and it looks crazy to people. People think like, yo, why would you do this? It looks crazy. But one of the other reasons why I love the Z Fold 6 multitasking is because of how flexible it is again. So triple split screen, you might think, oh, it's not that usable. It doesn't really make sense. But if I do something like this, I bring this full screen at the top, then I minimize it a little bit. Now I got basically 2 full apps. Like they're not going to be as big as a regular smartphone, but this is a normal aspect ratio of 4 apps, and I can expand one of them, you know, expand the other. There's so many increments of where you can drag the ratio for the split screen. Samsung is one of the only manufacturers that has this many, you know, adjustment points. Other manufacturers, they have like 1, 2, or 3, and that's it. It snaps to like a specific size. But on the Z Fold 6, you can do so many different kinds of setups because of how flexible it is. So like this is completely different from what I first showed you, like this kind of setup. And then you can obviously make the video smaller, you can make the video bigger. Then you can also just reorganize it completely. So now I have full YouTube and then 2 apps over here. I can have full Reddit and then something else over here. You can make YouTube a little bit smaller. If I'm just like watching a video casually and reading the comments, I can do that. And then, you know, better view for the other apps. And then you can obviously rotate it again and just do so many different things. So imagine I'm playing a game here while I'm watching a video. I can turn the video like this, and then I can have Reddit right there. And boom, now I'm scrolling on Reddit while watching a video, while playing a game at the bottom. Can adjust it because the game doesn't need to be that big. And then boom. So now I get a better aspect ratio for Reddit. I can full screen the video, make it a little bit smaller if I want to. And like this is amazing because of the flexibility, because of all the things you can do, the ways you can manipulate it. I still have this big floating window right here that I can prop out very easily, drag it off to the side, bring it back, can exit it, can open up so much more if I want to, you know, from the taskbar or from the edge panel. And then there's so much more things that you can do. Like, for example, one-hand operations. I talk about this stuff in every video, but like, it's just that good. I don't know how much I can talk about it without people like truly understanding or taking in the extent of Samsung software. One-hand operation, swipe and hold, boom. Now I can open recent apps or specific apps I set here. I can tap and hold and enter into a split screen or a pop-up window with either of these apps, but I mainly use it just for navigation. Like if I want to quickly go to an app that I was using recently, I can do that very quickly, very easily. And you might think like bro, like how many ways do you need to get into an app? It just depends on the circumstances. It depends on the context. So if I'm playing a game that's full screen, then you don't have the taskbar anymore because the phone smartly hides the taskbar so it doesn't get in the way of the game. And then let's say you're doing quick things in the game. You don't want to like swipe 2 times to access the edge panel to do something. So oftentimes I'll just do a one long swipe from there, from wherever my hands are already. Let's pretend this is messages. I can open that up, make it small, respond to the message, get back to the game. And then on Samsung devices, you can also adjust the opacity of the floating window. So I can, make it slightly less visible. So that way I can still see what's happening in the game while I respond to someone's message. And then you can throw it off to the side again, like I showed, or just get rid of it. So like the context matters a lot. I could go like this and then try to reach on the taskbar. I could do that. But I feel like the taskbar is a little bit smaller. So I'd rather just do what's easy and guaranteed. And then boom, just one and boom. If I need to do that, then I can hop back in the game. I've been using my Z Fold 6 a lot for multitasking for different purposes, whether it be working, making YouTube videos, playing games. I do that kind of stuff, multitasking on the Z Fold 6. And then another thing that I do a lot on my Z Fold 6 is actually video editing. So this basically is my computer right now. This foldable phone is my computer. I do everything on it. I research, I edit photos, I edit videos, literally everything. So if I go to LumaFusion, then import a clip, like let's say I import this clip, change the project aspect ratio to 16:9. And then I'm just going to crop this video like that. And this is basically just me recording some gameplay on the Z Fold 6. I can video edit on this phone. Look at the screen size. It's just amazing. And this is obviously not exclusive to the Z Fold 6, but this is something that I've been doing. And it's 100% possible. 4K video editing, it works on the Z Fold 6, no problem. You will experience issues with LumaFusion, but one thing that I found to make it actually work better than it normally does is after I finish a video project, I go to the app and then I just go to storage, clear the cache and clear data, uninstall the app, and then reinstall the app for the next video project that I'm going to be working on. And every time I do that, it works fine. And then you can also optimize the RAM, clear the RAM, just to give the program a little bit help, because I feel like there's a memory leak issue or something like that with LumaFusion. But generally, since I started uninstalling the app after every project, it's been working fine. So video editing definitely possible on the Z Fold 6, and it's been a pretty good experience having this big screen to see the photo library and also see the video and then the timeline and stuff, the space. It's just been really good. So I've been using my Z Fold 6 a lot for that kind of stuff. And then I'm always customizing my phone, changing it up. Like as you can see, my wallpaper is different than how it was in previous videos. This is a picture of my daughter, but you can change it up to just a lot of different things. And then I have this icon pack. I have Samsung widgets. I use Samsung apps a lot. So these are Samsung apps with their widgets. You can make them transparent. That's one of my favorite things about Samsung software. And then some of the apps that I use the most for productivity on the Z Fold 6 are the Samsung Reminders app, Samsung Calendar. I use Samsung Notes. I use the Files app. Samsung Files is probably the best Files app on Android in my opinion. It just works so much better than other ones and has a lot more features. You can do all the normal stuff, change the view of the files and stuff like that. You can create folders, edit stuff. You can zip things, access your cloud storage if you want to. Then there's all the different file categories. You can find things very easily, search, have filters and things like that. You can manage your storage and trash. And then also, the one thing that I really love is when you connect an external drive to this device, the Samsung devices, you can unmount the external drive, and then you can also remount it again if it's still plugged in. So that's just a level of control that other phones just don't have generally. Like, I feel like Samsung devices just work the best with external drives and external devices in general. Like, Samsung really tweak their phones and software to work with those things. So plugging it into a desktop, which I also use this phone as a desktop at my desk with a keyboard and mouse connected to an external screen. I use it a lot in Samsung decks, and when I do that, I can connect external drives to the dock that I use, and it just works flawlessly. I feel like Samsung devices are the best when it comes to file transfer and just, working with files and stuff like that in general. So it's been good. Now the cameras, I mean, it's hard to tell from right here. I'll show photos on the screen. I don't have any issues with these cameras actually, other than the fact that, like, I wish they could have been at the level of the flagship phones, That's all really. But for what they are, these cameras are actually still really good. They're really good cameras that you can get good photos, get good videos. People talk about like how it doesn't work for them with their kids and stuff like that. And I understand that it does have some shutter lag and stuff like that. But in my experience, if I want a picture of my daughter, I can get a good picture of my daughter. Like, this picture was taken on a Z Fold 5. It's clean, crispy, sharp. It looks good. The colors are good. And I know like it's outside, but that wasn't the best lighting. Like, it's kind of muted, but it still took a good photo. And even in lower lit situations, I can take a good picture on my Z Fold device. But camera experience is good. What makes the camera experience even better than it actually is on this phone too is all the ways you can use the camera. So of course you got using it with the hinge, which I actually do this a lot. But one of my favorite use cases right now, since I got the Z Fold 6 back, is the external screen. So I will put, you see this mount right here. This is where the S24 Ultra is right now, recording this video. I will have the Z Fold 6 on this mount, and then I can have the viewfinder like that bent, and now I can see straight on from here while doing stuff below the phone under the camera. So that is such a cool and amazing workflow, being able to have an external viewfinder that is, movable, kind of like an actual camera, and it just works really well for this use case. So I've been enjoying the Z Fold 6 for production, making videos and then editing videos and stuff like that. It's been amazing in that sense. Performance is probably the biggest issue I have with the Z Fold 6. Like, it is a powerful phone, but like, I don't know, maybe it's just Wild Rift, but Wild Rift has been giving problems lately. Like, the FPS will drop from 120 FPS and go down to 60. The phone will get pretty hot. I've even had the phone overheat on me one time when I was in Samsung Decks. It literally just closed all the apps and said the phone had to cool down and stuff like that. I've never had that issue before. So that is kind of annoying that this phone has these heating issues. And it kind of even makes me think, like, people want these phones to be thinner, but I'm not really excited about thinness, bro. Like, this phone is thin enough, if you ask me. I'm not bothered by this size at all. Like, it's just a smidge bigger than, regular slab phones. I don't think it's too thick at all. I think this is a good place to be in. And if you can make the phone thinner, but still be good in terms of thermals and the power and stuff like that, then sure, why not? But a thinner phone is just going to equal a harder time for, like, high-end heavy use cases and workflows, like video editing and long multitasking sessions and stuff like that, or playing games. So that's the one area that I'm disappointed in with the Z Fold 6. I feel like it's just struggling to play certain games, and even like one of the best use cases with the foldable phone is playing a game while watching a YouTube video, and I feel like that used to work flawlessly, but now it's kind of given some issues. I think it's a software issue more than it is a thermal thing. Like, the thermals definitely impact it, but I think there's some type of underlying software issue. And specifically, I think it might be Google apps, or it might be social media apps. So I uninstalled all the social media apps on this phone: Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, all those things. I think the performance kind of improved a little bit since I uninstalled them. And then just the Google apps, I don't know, like it could be Samsung apps, it could be good luck. I'm not sure. But I do suspect there's something going on in the software in the back end that is causing this phone to lag or heat up when it shouldn't. But other than like gaming and stuff like that, I don't experience any issues at all, any glitches, any slowdowns, any bugginess. The phone just runs perfectly fine outside of gaming and video editing. And then I do use the S Pen for, you know, photo editing, for drawing, taking notes, and it's been a good experience. I also love that the S Pen Pro works on the Z Fold 6 and you have your gestures, so I can use it to control my camera, and it's just a really good experience for that, especially with the phone that has a hinge. So basically you can set it up on its own tripod and take pictures. If I move the viewfinder down, you can see that I can take the photo by pressing the button. I can change the mode and all that kind of stuff. So really cool that you have air gestures with the S Pen Pro on the Z Fold 6. How I've been carrying my S Pen since I don't use a case is I have these little magnet things that my wife got me, and they're pretty cool. So you can put them on your S Pen. For the smaller one, I had to wrap it on each side. And then because I have a MagSafe ring, they stick to that. Obviously not a perfect or super secure solution, but it definitely works with like carrying it in my pocket or just carrying it in my hand, you know, moving it around, stuff like that. It's kind of like when you have a tablet and then your pen can go on the side of it, the tablet. You know, obviously that's not going to be the most secure situation for carrying your pen with your device, but like being able to just magnetically attach it is better than it just being random places, you know, or in your pocket, somewhere where you can lose it, or somewhere it can fall out. I feel like this, it's good. It's on my phone. And then when I'm not using it, I have these magnetic rings that I have on the wall where I can put my S Pens and they stay there. So that is really cool. So that's how I've been carrying my S Pen, just on the back of the phone, magnetically on the MagSafe ring. But that is basically the main things. That's how I've been using my Z Fold 6. I have the small screen set up differently than the inner display, you know, 2 different layouts. I love that about Samsung software. And everything I mentioned on the big screen, I also do on the smaller screen, including multitasking, just to a different level or degree, smaller degree. And, you know, I use the small screen for quick things. Like I have music, I have YouTube, I have Crunchyroll, notes, shortcut, and then some basic information, and then just some main apps that I might use on the small screen. And then, you know, I have my edge panel for quick multitasking or quick access to apps. Have my gestures same way. So swipe and hold, I can go to my files very easily. That's how I've been using my Z Fold 6, you know. It's been a really good phone, really good experience. The battery life has been fine for me. The only downside is the thermal performance and just some performance issues in general that I hope get solved with software updates or just, you know, better hardware in the Z Fold 7. So yeah, that is it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about the Z Fold 6 and everything I said in this video. And also let me know if you watched this whole video. I know I kind of yap and go on, but let me know if you watched this video by putting hashtag Z Fold 6 on your comments. Until next one, we are out. Peace.